From Dallas, Texas, President Kennedy died.
An element of the Central Intelligence Agency of our country killed John Kennedy, and that the present administration is concealing the facts.
It's the Miscellaneous Podcast.
It's a mystery! It's a mystery wrapped in a riddle inside an enigma!
Your hosts, Polly.
Cloak and dagger stuff. They called it Operation Mongoose.
And Josh.
The government's gonna jump all over your head and go cock-a-doodle-doo. Good babies.
With a title that says it all.
Yeah, but I'm afraid another advertisement may be coming up.
Let's get to it. Josh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Unsolved Mysteries, you remember that, right?
Yes, I do.
Sightings, you remember that one?
Vaguely.
What about X-Files?
Yeah, I was actually watching X-Files on Netflix, just watching them one after another.
Nice. Movies like Conspiracy Theory with Mel Gibson.
Loved it. Liked it.
Manchurian Candidate.
I liked that one too. That was good.
And, of course, JFK.
Never saw the JFK.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Dead serious.
Okay, well, for this episode, we're going to focus on JFK assassination-conspiracy theories. Because all these TV shows from the 80s and 90s and all the movies open up a big platform for conspiracy theories. It was a national tragedy, obviously. And it took place before our time. So all we got is just YouTube documentaries, high school history classes, and of course all the conspiracy theories. Now, when I started my research, Josh, it was fun. I wanted just a couple questions to keep it simple, no rambling on or anything like that. By the time I got done, this rabbit hole twists, tangles, and it went so deep, my notepad pretty much looked like I was that weird guy in movies that draws on the walls.
So you started out like a fresh-faced babe in the woods. Everything was fine, and then things went terribly wrong.
Yes. So
I believe it.
I had to step back, and I had to reevaluate how I'm going to do this. And after a lot of research, and you know me, I don't do that.
No, you don't have the attention span to do research.
I created a JFK assassination-conspiracy theory mashup.
Oh, boy.
So before we get into that, I figured between you and I, we'll just go over some
fun facts that you may or may not have known
about Lee Harvey Oswald.
Fun fact, he has 3 names.
Lee Harvey Oswald was only in the Marines less than 3 years. In the beginning, he was a sharpshooter, but after another test, he got lowered down to marksman.
I do know that they mentioned him in Full Metal Jacket.
Do you remember what he was saying in Full Metal Jacket?
Yeah, that he fired so many rounds with an Italian bolt-action rifle, and he learned to shoot in the Marines, sir!
He was court-martialed not once, but twice.
Golly, that's pretty bad, actually.
Would you like to know more?
Yes!
He was court-martialed the first time for shooting himself in the elbow.
Oh my God. How do you court-martial somebody for shooting themselves in the elbow? Is that like writing someone up for like an unsafe act?
I guess.
Dereliction of duty or like substandard duty performance?
Yes. The second time he was court-martialed, he ended up fighting the sergeant who he thought, who was bringing down the sentence of his court-martial, his punishment.
You know, you would expect someone, if they're being court-martialed, then the guy who's going to hand down the sentence would probably get his ass kicked, I'm thinking.
He was nicknamed Oswald-Skovich because he was pro-Soviet and talked a lot about it.
Oh, there's just not a lot going for him, is there?
I guess communism propaganda was big back then?
Yeah, but they could have at least chosen a name that was like, you know, easier to say, like Oswaldski.
I think that's more Polish, though, isn't it?
I don't know, but Oswald-Skovich is kind of...
If I listen back to myself, I probably sound like I just got hit in the head and tried to say the name. Oswald-Skovich. Oswald-Skovich. He learned rudimentary Russian while he was in the Marines. Just FYI, he was also a radar man. That's what his actual job was.
Okay, well that makes sense. You'd have to learn rudimentary Russian because they would listen to, you know, their chatter channels. You could pick up certain phrases. That's what I would suppose.
Yeah, and his love for Russia.
Yeah, his love for Mother Russia, apparently.
A month after his discharge in 1959, he was in Moscow.
Oh, no surprise there.
When he first got to Moscow, he told everyone, I want to defect. No one believed him. He was pretty resourceful and got in with officials, like in their building, I guess. No one took him seriously. Now, he only had a visa for 5 days, so on his 5th day, he decides to fake a suicide attempt so he could stay in the country. So then they put him in a psychiatric ward for evaluation, and according to his personal diaries, that's when other officials came up to him and said, "Would you like to defect?" And thus begins even more of yet another conspiracy string.
Good God. I want to be a Russian, I promise. No, you don't. No one wants to leave America. No, I swear I do. No, you don't. We think you're lying. Oh, I swear to God, I'll cut my wrists. No, you won't. Oh, crap, he did.
Oswald was not a right guy anyway, so when he defected, he was in the news. When he came back to America, he was pissed off because he didn't get media attention from it.
He seems to be kind of an attention whore.
So after a year of being a Russian citizen, he wanted to come back to the United States. He didn't like living the communist life, I take it.
So what you're saying is he didn't like living in the cold all the time and eating borscht.
In 1961, he married Marina Prusakova after knowing her for less than 6 weeks.
It was love at first sight. After knowing someone for a month and change, I've wanted to bang them, but I don't know about marry them. That's no.
This all helps out the conspiracy theories. In 1962, Oswald was able to get back to the States by way of his wife's immigration status.
Of course.
And not only that, we gave him a loan. It's called a repatriation loan. The loan was for $435.71. That's a lot of money for back then.
That's kind of hilarious that, it's like, hey, I'm going to defect to Russia. Okay, fine. We hate to see you go, but bye. And then he tries to commit suicide over there. Then he gets married, comes back, and you're like, welcome back. Have some money.
Do you think he had to pay that loan back?
Probably not, knowing the United States. Good Lord.
Yeah, you see how all these fun facts add up to just the conspiracy theory alone?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's, every fun fact is like, another bend in the road. It's like, oh, God.
In 1963, so a year after his triumphant return to the United States of America, from a mail-order purchase of a Carcano rifle, Oswald made his first attempt on someone's life.
That's even better that, not only did he, supposedly try to kill the president, but he tried to kill someone else.
A baby killer taking his first steps. It was retired Major General Edwin Walker. He shot him from about 100 feet away. Let's go into the facts of the assassination. It happened on 11/22/63, and it happened around 12:30 in the afternoon. So Kennedy's motor pool route was posted days before. People say that the motor pool was rerouted, so I don't know if the newspaper post was right or wrong. I don't know. So with that case, how did Oswald know where to set up shop at? You know what I mean?
Right.
There was 4 witnesses that saw Oswald in the book depository on the 1st and 6th floor of that morning. According to the Warren Commission, Oswald was the sole shooter. Have you seen the video to the assassination?
Yes.
Do you really think the last one that takes out his dome comes from a back trajectory?
It's weird that you would say that, because I've seen one episode or whatever you want to call it about the fact that he's supposed to be hit from behind, but whenever you see Jackie, she jumps behind him and grabs what looks like a part of his skull and pulls it in from off the trunk. And if he was shot from behind, it wouldn't do that. It would go forward, not backward.
According to the Warren Commission, this is how it went down. There was one shot that missed, and it hit a curb. The ricochet from the curb then wounded a bystander's face. Second shot, it hit Kennedy, hit just below his right collar, ricocheted, then came out his necktie. From there, it hit Connolly's ribs, right underneath his armpit, which then came out there, hit his right wrist, then ricocheted into his thigh.
Is this bullet made out of rubber? I mean, good Lord, that's a lot of ricocheting.
We've come to know it as the magic bullet theory.
This is what the Warren Commission said the second shot consisted of. The third shot was the head shot.
Huh, well.
After the attack, Oswald hid his rifle in a pile of boxes. He was first stopped by Officer Marion Baker and Oswald's supervisor, and the officer let him go. Approximately 45 minutes from the attack, Patrolman J.D. Tippett was shot 4 times and killed by Oswald. After the investigation was done, experts state that the shell casings found on the ground by the victim were fired from the revolver that was found on Oswald's person. However, because the bullets in Tippett's body were so damaged, there's no conclusive evidence to prove that Oswald shot the cop.
Why were the bullets damaged?
They just said they were tore up from the impact.
That doesn't make sense. I mean, forensics pulls bullets out of bodies all the time, and they match them up with guns all the time.
So why are these ones convenient?
Yeah, why are these ones so damaged? Yeah.
2 days after the assassination, and this is at 11:21 a.m., Oswald is shot by Jack Ruby on live television.
Goodness, I didn't even know that. That someone shot Lee Harvey?
So this all happened at the Dallas Police Headquarters. Now, Jack Ruby was seen in the hallways of the police department several times after Oswald's arrest. So it adds a conspiracy theory that had to find a way to kill him.
Yeah, just waiting around, and then bada bing.
Jack Ruby impersonated a reporter during the time that he was there. He also attended one of the press conferences, and he asked questions, too, while he was there.
Talk about your dedication.
And finally, this is a question for you, my friend. Do you think the reason why they killed Kennedy was to prevent something from happening? Do you think it was for the greater good?
I don't know. I mean, Lee Harvey Oswald was obviously a lunatic. I mean, I didn't know much about him. I mean, aside from, that he was, the guy who supposedly killed JFK. But I mean, after hearing about, he shot himself in the elbow, and then he got into a fight with his superior officer, and then he defected to Russia, and then he married a Russian and then came back. I mean, the dude's unhinged anyway. But I don't know, to answer the question, I would say probably none of the above. I mean, I'm kind of under he's bat crap, and he just got it in his head that that's what he wanted to do. I mean, I am a conspiracy theory guy. I don't know a lot about this. And it just seems like he was bat crap. I mean, it's, sometimes the simplest solution is the easy, the most convenient, I guess. I don't know.
But that's pretty much it. So pop some popcorn, get comfy, and enjoy 17-minute mashup between four people that I think I did a good job editing.
I actually want to hear it because, like I said, I don't know a whole lot about it. So, I mean, I'm interested to hear what the conspiracies are and if there's any validation to them.
All right. Let the theory fly.
If you think about it, I don't know what the National Archives actually holds in total. All right, but name something else that has affected us the way the Kennedy assassination did that is still sealed away to where nobody can get any information. So whenever you start looking at it from that point of view now, you got to figure the U.S. government are the ones who are refusing to release the information because they're waiting for everybody who could have been involved in it to be dead. That's what that amounts to.
Yeah, because the interview with...
2039.
2039.
2039.
Right. Which here's the weird part. He said back then 2039.
2039.
But I know twice now that they were supposed to open the records and then didn't. I think one of them was in 2000 and I'm not sure about the other one. The only reason that I can think of that you would not want that information out there for the everyday person is because there's so much underhanded stuff that went on. They know that it's going to pinpoint to someone being involved with the assassination attempt. Or at least somebody knew about it, even if they didn't do anything about it, and so on and so forth.
Do you believe that there was more than one shooter?
Oh, most definitely. The angles of where the bullets all went, for just a single shooter, that's not flying.
Oswald would have had to have the information beforehand. That means he would have had to have gone into the book depository, gone past anybody and everybody who might have been there, up to a floor where nobody happened to be, and wait out for the time for him to show up.
Yeah, it's too coincidental to just try to get away with it. He had to know exactly
There's somebody helped him somewhere.
And then all the eyewitnesses, you saw the quote-unquote homeless people who had brand new clothes on and brand new shoes that, exited out the back end of the, where the grassy knoll was.
Was that those three hobos?
The three railroad tramps, that were present. There's been theories over time that there was 3 railroad tramps that were involved in it, sort of the grassy knoll guys.
Yeah, hobos with quotes. No, yeah, those guys were all like backup specialists. They're probably sharpshooters too. But no, this was all orchestrated. It was done on purpose. They even rerouted his route last minute. If you look into the archives, of the investigation that his original route was closed, and they rerouted him to where he was going around that turn to actually slow the motorcade down for the Secret Service to kind of like do step backs. Because here's the thing, real quick, they get out of the vehicle. They step out of the vehicle right before the shots are. Come on, coincidence? Nah.
Like everyone kind of backed away.
Yeah, it's like they knew something was coming, and they didn't want to be shot.
The driver and the passenger in the very front seat. They just kind of turned back and look at the president. The other guy should have jumped back to try to body shield anyone.
Anybody would have like, what the heck? They knew. I mean, why would you just sit there like, okay?
Why didn't they gun out of the area when they first started hearing shots?
That's another thing too.
We all know that no matter what part he had in this, he didn't do the actual killing.
No way.
I believe he probably shot. I think his first shot was the one that missed, and all the rest of the people just fucking unloaded. Because I think Oswald was probably another signal man. That was my conspiracy theory. That when he got into position when they needed to, he would shoot the first shot. If he would hit him, that's great. If not, it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
Okay, now that leaves the grassy knoll. Obviously, in the grassy knoll, in my opinion, that was the headshot.
Because that was they even say that was like the perfect area to actually to execute those hits.
Yeah.
You know.
Now, in the movie JFK, Kevin Costner and the other great star actors who were in that movie, all love stars.
5-star movie.
Yeah, it was great. They're up in the book depository.
No, the only reason for waiting to get him on Elm, got him in a triangulated crossfire. You put a team there, down at the fence, for a frontal shot, flat, low trajectory. Put a third team down here in this building here on a low floor. Kennedy gets the kill zone there. It's a turkey shoot.
So then where's the other people?
A conspiracy works because everybody who's involved in it has to die. So those two fellows that were on the grassy knoll were dead and buried within an hour. And he asked him, well, how do you know? He says, no, hell, I still got the shovel.
Kodak got a picture that actually shows cops running up the grassy knoll. 19 witnesses heard multiple shots from all the interrogations. They heard more than 3 shots.
Well, back to the JFK movie, you remember the sworn testimony from those people was changed.
The babushka lady.
Right. And she was at a different point of view, which is the big popular one that everybody sees.
And of course, no one knows who this lady is.
It's a toss-up. She took the film with her and hid it, or they took the film away from her and just told her to go about her business, or her and the film both disappeared under mysterious circumstances.
That was almost like the signal to say, this is where you guys hit. Yeah, because they never found her.
A lot of people were actually thinking she was just a regular bystander, and she just caught it all on camera. But more and more that I saw these last couple documentaries, not listening to what they were saying, looking at the photographs that they were providing in the video, she didn't move when everyone else was in panic.
No, everybody else was like, what's going on here? Your gunshots? Because the gunshots are loud.
Possibly say maybe
she
could
was
have
deaf?
been. No. She was there for proof of death. Now let's talk about
the Umbrella Man.
Like, this is the mark, guys. Go ahead.
Yep.
That was the official go ahead. Because it's a sunny day. He's the only one with an umbrella. And you purposely, flag it up as they're pulling around. Did you see the court cases from the 70s? Did they get those on YouTube? Where they had the umbrella guy there. And they said, was your umbrella something special? He was like, no, it's just an umbrella. He was these are people, they're probably all part of the CIA or whatever organization took this guy out. They were all part of it.
Why is it nobody's ever asked to see the news footage from the news companies that were there?
That would be a televised event.
From Fort Worth, Dallas, we go to station WBAP-TV.
Here now are late, unedited, unscreened films of the shooting scene in Dallas. The cameraman running toward the scene to the presidential car ahead of him. We caught just a blurred glance of the old-school depository building from which the sniper fired the shot. This is the reaction from the crowd.
So you have Abraham Lincoln was elected in Congress in 1846. Then JFK was elected in Congress in 1946. Lincoln was elected president in 1860, and Kennedy was elected president in 1960. Both wives lost the child while living in the White House, and both presidents were shot on a Friday, and both were shot in the head. So now this is where it gets a little weird. So now you have Lincoln's secretary was named Kennedy, and you have Kennedy's secretary by the name Lincoln. Both were assassinated by Southerners. Both were succeeded by Southerners named Johnson. Andrew Johnson, who succeeded Lincoln, was born in 1808, and then Andrew Johnson, who succeeded Kennedy, was born in 1908. And then you have John Wilkes Booth, who assassinated Lincoln, was born in 1839, and Lee Harvey Oswald, who assassinated Kennedy, was born in 1939. Both assassins were known by the 3 names. Both names are composed of 15 letters. Lincoln was shot in a theater named Ford. Kennedy was shot in a Lincoln car made by Ford. Booth and Oswald were assassinated before their trials. A week before Lincoln was shot, he was in Monroe, Maryland, and a week before Kennedy was shot, he was in Marilyn Monroe, with Marilyn Monroe.
He was in
Either way. And then you have Lincoln, who was shot in a theater, and then his assassin ran to a warehouse, and then you have Kennedy, who was shot in a warehouse, from a warehouse, and ran to a theater. It's just really odd and how everything coordinates and parallels with each other within the years.
Do you think that's a Mandela effect?
I don't think it's a Mandela effect in general, but it's just really odd on how it all lined up like that.
I mean, even if we had not allowed the bubble top to be removed from the limousine, we would have placed at least 100 to 200 agents on the sidewalk without question.
The motorcade car itself, where they were replacing, even in the JFK movie, they were replacing the glass, the windshield, and taking the doors with the bullets and all. You know, a regular crime scene, you're going to keep the car in a storage bin for an investigation later, kind of like with the airplanes. Mm-hmm. Okay, airplanes, when an airplane crashes, what do? They put it into a bay, and they put they put everything back together.
That's not his actual limo. That was the rental limo. That was the different kind of
limo.
I
know, but still, it's a crime scene.
No.
Here's my thing. They probably told the guy, man, they messed up on the rental. We got this thing. And he said, fine, no worries.
Oh, no, not rental, I mean as in, the other one's in the shop. This is the backup one.
That's what I'm saying.
Not like they went to some shady...
No, I know, yeah. That they messed up the order.
You want the rental? Here you go.
Come on, she's a beauty.
It's like burning oil. A lot of people then stamp on the Mandela effect towards which I think is so bullshit.
Really? Why?
The conspiracy theories...
6 people or 4 people?
Yes.
And there were 6.
There's always been 6.
But we only remember 4.
We only remember 4 because your eyes and your brain, when they see convertible in that Lincoln, they don't think it's a stretch.
So you're saying that basically we just conceive what a regular convertible is, 4 people instead of 6.
Well, there's 2 autopsy, because I know they did one there in Dallas.
Right. Now here's something to think about. So they do an autopsy on the president, and then they change his suit. If you look at the suit he was shot in, that's not the suit he shows up in later. But his wife never changed her clothes. Oh. And she had blood all over her. Now, her response to that is because she wanted people to see what they had done to her husband.
Lyndon B. Johnson's now sworn in.
President's Commission on the Assassination of President Kennedy, known officially as the Warren Commission, was established by President Lyndon B. Johnson through executive order on November 29, 1963. There are theories abound that Johnson was afraid that Kennedy was going to throw them into World War III. Some people believe that Johnson had something to do with his assassination. So if I'm the guy that had something to do with his assassination, and I'm going to put together a committee to look into it, don't you think I'm going to put people in there that I have complete control over?
The magic bullet.
Yeah. That's some bullet. Anyone who's been in combat will tell you never in the history of gunfire has there been a bullet this ridiculous.
The spit then came off the rib, made a right turn, hitting Newman in the right wrist. The spit then splashed off the wrist, pauses in midair, mind you, makes a left turn and lands on Newman's left thigh. That is one magic loogie.
Oswald did shoot.
I'll be honest with you, I don't think a single bullet from Oswald's going to even reach the president.
I just recently watched, and I've watched a lot of stuff on this in the last couple of days.
Yeah.
I really loved, was it Roddy Piper? Who was that guy?
Jesse Ventura.
Yeah, so I watched his thing, and he did that on the gun thing, and he got down to maybe 8 seconds. And they said that Oswald, in the Warren Commission report, he did it in 6 seconds. So no one could replicate what they said in the file.
No. I think they were all part of some organization, CIA, something.
Even Lee Harvey?
Yeah, they're all part of it. Because you got Lee, who goes all the way to Russia, defects, and then bring him back to the United States with no charges. He was a Marine. Any of us did that, they throw the book at us. But this guy brings back even a Russian bride. And they set him up. Here you go. They set him up in Russia, and then they set him up here.
Now people start dying. David Ferry dies from a weird thing that actually turns out to be hereditary.
Yeah,
from what they say. Yes.
Yeah, they say. Yeah.
He's found in his house with a couple suicide notes. One of them found in a stack of papers. Another one found just like laying around.
Yeah. He didn't even have family or nothing. Yeah, but he's got the suicide notes. Think about it. Those were bullshit too, but go ahead.
Why is cancer always linked to the JFK conspiracy theory?
the Mary's Monkeys?
Dr. Mary Sherman.
So you figure it's a year after the Kennedy assassination. They start digging around and they find out this woman is the one who was working on the virus that was going to be used to kill Castro, which means truly she knew too much. One of the reasons why they may not have wanted the cure to cancer to be out there is if you think about it, the time period, it was a Cold War. It wasn't just the fact that we're going to blow up your people. You don't want them to have the possibility of getting a hold of a cure for the thing that you're trying to scare them with. Just my opinion.
Tell the listeners about how she died.
Well, they don't know.
Well, what they found, how about that?
She was found in her apartment. Pretty much half of her body was cooked. Her right arm was gone. It was burned all the way off. Half of her face was burned. You couldn't even tell, like, her woman parts because they were cooked.
They were melted.
They were melted. She was also stabbed in the heart, twice in the left arm, one time in the crotch. You can look all this stuff up.
No, I know,
I'm not making it up.
Bizarre, yeah.
The picture itself makes it. She looks like plastic. She doesn't look
have a
real.
Picture of her. I think she must have did something wrong. Experiment went wrong, and I think that was besides those other puncture wounds. I think that the stab wound to the heart was probably a mercy killing. But I think she was working on something that might have been a granddaddy to CERN too.
A what?
CERN, the collider.
What's that?
That's the thing that makes black holes different dimensions and stuff. They got one here in Illinois, and then they got one in France.
They think it was either sabotage or by accident. The point of the story is what killed her, the magnitude back then in the 60s, is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Something that burns off an arm and bakes half of your body. What all do you know about Jack Ruby and how he died, how he shot him, all that stuff?
I just know very little about Jack Ruby. I just knew that he shot Oswald live on TV and then he was arrested. And I just remember in the JFK movie where he wanted to be moved out of that jail because he didn't trust it. He's like, "You guys go get me out of here. I need a transfer." Yeah, because he didn't trust any of the people that were guarding him.
Jack Ruby was seen in the halls of the police department several times after JFK was pronounced dead. And when during the press conferences, you actually see him in the actual footage asking questions too, like he's portraying to be
a reporter. Interesting. I did not know that.
Evidence given to the Warren Commission that Ruby was associated with organized crime, but they don't tell you how they get that information.
What if the mob is the CIA?
Dun dun dun!
You never know, man.
And it wasn't like Jack Ruby was some great upstanding American citizen that he would turn around and feel that slighted that John F. Kennedy got shot. Jack Ruby, in my opinion, shot Oswald because Oswald had more information than just the Kennedy assassination.
When he came to the courthouse, he left his dogs in his car. Mm-hmm. He had 2 dogs. Why would you leave your dogs in the car if you think you're not going to make it out?
Yeah.
Do you think he got lied to?
Maybe.
How come none of the cops really cared about all that stuff? When he got arrested, he said, the revolver's been in my pocket all day.
Doesn't make sense how he just slept through, right?
Mm-hmm. And how he leaves his dogs in the car. Obviously, he think he was walking away from this.
Mm-hmm.
In jail, he was saying that people were injecting him with cancer.
I believe it.
Originally, he was tried and was found guilty of murdering Oswald and was sentenced to death. Later, he appealed his conviction and had it overturned, which meant now he was alive to talk. He wasn't going to go to the death chamber. He was granted a new trial. On January 3rd of 67, the date for his new trial was being set, and he became ill in prison and died at Park Memorial Hospital. Pulmonary embolism and lung cancer.
And you think he was going to sing like a bird?
Maybe.
Yeah.
When they did the autopsy on Jack Ruby, they found lung tissue in his liver. So a lot of conspiracy theorists think that they made a blender concoction of cancer from other cancer things and just injected him and kept doing it until he freaking died. Thank you to the interviewees. We have Joe Brother, Mr. Joe, and Brandon Foxmulder.
That, friends, will have to be telecommentary for tonight. Good night.